Counter-Strike 2 is coming and there's not a whole lot you can do to stop it. Not that most of us would want to, but it's always scary to let go of something that has made up a solid part of all of our lives. For those of you who haven't got the beta, which is undoubtedly most of you, we've gone through and picked out the 10 biggest changes the game has undergone, at least so far. Let's start with the obvious. It looks different. I mean, obviously, but it's sharper, more vibrant, and a hell of a lot brighter. It's not to some people's tastes, and that's understandable, but we think it might be something people get used to very quickly. We think it's wicked, personally. Similarly, all the grenades look different. The way smokes and nades interact is well documented, but they do truly look beautiful. You know, by stretched res CSGO standards at least. Speaking of the smokes, the way they bloom will probably change the way a whole bunch of maps are played. One ways aren't entirely eradicated. I mean, Danish face-it nerds will always find a way, but they're going to be much rarer and harder to use. Mirage CT side is about to become a hell of a lot more difficult. The buy menu is obviously different and the overlay in the menus is overhauled, skins look better than ever, and that's about it. As well as looking different, the game sounds different. Listen to the sound of the rifles, the punchy thud of the AWP and the... Oh, there's no Zeus sound. Alright, maybe the game's unplayable, honestly. Those two are obvious and don't really make that big a difference. I mean, of course they do, but it's really about how the game feels. And there's good and bad news. It definitely feels different, and to those of us with thousands of hours, any small change is like the end of the world. It's like having a stone in your shoe. No matter how small and insignificant it looks to other people, it still really fucking hurts in your shoe. Some of it is hard to describe, as it's more of a feeling thing. The AK spray feels different in a way that's tough to articulate. It might just be placebo, but something feels off. The AWP feels a bit clunkier after firing, but that might just be a visual thing. The new traces are a nice touch, and it sounds brutal, but it seems like maybe it kicks more after firing. The Desert Eagle spray pattern is a lot tighter. That's just what the game needed, the Deagle being easier to use. Alright, all jokes aside, it's no more egregious than the 5.7, okay, that was also a joke. It's interesting, the Desert Eagle doesn't really need a buff back to the pre-CSGO days, and this might not be intended. My movement isn't good, I mean, movement is really hard, and that's why I can't make all the skill jumps on Mirage. According to the people with movement less akin to an injured Per Mertesacker, it is a bit harder. You feel heavier, slower, and less smooth, and that's something I also felt too. We're sure this will change over time, not least because a lot of the big names are moaning about it. It will take a little while to get used to if it stays, and it is a shame to see something so smooth made a bit rougher, but people will figure out how to optimise it eventually. There's a few smaller changes too. The grenade camera and built-in perma warm-up mode make it easier to learn smokes and record things for ESL videos without messing around with the console. Oh, and there's loads of bugs. That's not really a change, it's just funny to look at. Unless you're supposed to be able to be on top of Mirage shooting down on your enemies like Olafmeister on Overpass or Devil Jin from Tekken. There's a few new devious wallbang spots on Mirage so far that will almost certainly be changed, but if not, have fun abusing these and being called a hacker. We're yet to see what these look like on other maps and if the same wallbangs exist, so take it with a pinch of salt. CS2 promises to change Counter-Strike forever, for better or for worse. Whatever happens, the next year or two are going to be wild. Let us know what you think of the changes, and if you think we're being a bit too nitpicky, probably, or if you don't like the route some of the changes are going in. Love you all, and goodbye.